Do you care for elderly parents? And do you want to get paid for it? Did you know that there's money to get paid for caring for elderly parents? I'm so excited about this topic. Today we have Ugo Eziafule. I had to practice your name, Ugo. I don't like to mispronounce things, but you are with Providers of Texas. And what I admire about you from the moment I met you is how passionate you are to help this underserved community. So tell us briefly who you are and how you got into this, and tell us how we can care for our elderly parents with the monies that we need to help them.
Yes, well, my name is Ugo Eziafule with Providers of Texas. Here based in the Houston area. We provide services to all of Southeast Texas, basically Harris County and surrounding counties as well. So what we do is basically we provide caregiving services for those in need help with their activities of daily living in their home. Now, that could be someone who could be elderly. That could be someone that could be disabled. That could even be, in the coming future, we're working on that, even pediatric as well. But basically what we do is that if we know someone that's disabled or that's older and they have any type of diagnosis in any way, they could be high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart rate, any type of diagnosis, there are programs available by the state, right, that would allow them to have a caregiver for them for an allotted hours during the week that is paid for by the state. How that works is the state will pay an agency, a home health agency like myself, and that agency will then hire a caregiver when it comes to administration, payroll, all that other stuff, hire a caregiver to come into the home and take care of those, what we call activities of daily living, which would be cooking, cleaning, hair and skin care, might be doctor's appointments, assistance with medication, those activities, laundry, those activities like that. So a lot of times what they can do is that if a lot of times what I found is that family members or children are already doing this for their parents. They'll come by a few times a week to help out mom and dad, something like that. So what we do is I'm a big advocate of getting paid to do something that you're already doing. So it could be something that you're already doing because that's your family member, that's your mom, that's your dad, that's your aunt, uncle, cousin, it's something you're supposed to do. Now you can now be compensated for doing that thing as well. The state would pay the agency, which would now hire you as a caregiver hourly. So you could be paid hourly to take care of that loved one. And also, let's say that because you're taking care of that loved one, it takes time away from you doing something else. That's okay as well. What we can do is you can go do that other thing, and we will hire a caregiver to come in to help with those tasks. So that could free you up to do other things. Because I've known people that unfortunately have had to reduce the hours, if not quit their jobs entirely, to take care of their loved ones at home. So this could be a great respite or a great lifeline to those that not only the client who needs the help, but also to the caregiver or the family member that might be helping them with those activities of daily living.
Yeah, so my first question is there a limit? Is there a monetary limit per month for this?
So what we found is whenever you're looking for these services, they do take into account your income and how much income the client, not the caregiver, but how much the client makes. So let's say the children are taking care of, or the children are taking care of the loved one. They won't look at the children's income. They're looking at the loved one's income. They're looking at whatever income they might get. Now, what I've done is I've found creative ways and good ways to still help people with these services, regardless of their income. But everyone is a different case. Some people have to sit down and talk with them. There are different routes about going about it. They have to be okay with it. If they're okay with it, then we can go forward to doing it. They do look at the income. They make sure your income's the right income, but there are ways around that, loopholes, if you will. They can still get those services even if their income might not fit into that area.
Is there a duration of time? Like as long as the person still has the diagnosis, the parent, let's say, then it's just ongoing. And I know it's per hours per week. Like let's say it's deemed that my parents-in-law, because they live with us actually, need 10 hours a week of care. So I'm assuming the amount is 10 hours a week times whatever amount.
Yeah. So how it works is someone from the state, we call a caseworker, would come in and do an evaluation of your parents or the clients. They'll determine what they need help with. The more help they need, the more hours they get. Makes sense. The less help they need, the less hours they get. Once they determine that the number of hours that you have, they will then assign you to an agency. A lot of the times they'll have this big notebook or like this sheets of paper of all the agencies in your area, and they'll say pick one or contact one, right?
And they can pick you.
So yeah, and then they can contact me. And so what they do is once you contact the agency, the state will then send the agency paperwork saying this is your client, they have this many hours, they need a caregiver. Then it is upon the agency to find a caregiver for that client, right? It could be, as I've seen, as low as 9 hours. I've seen as many as 36 or 37 hours a week. It's just depending on what the client's needs are at that time. And when it comes to ongoing, a lot of the times they'll do like a yearly evaluation. So after a year, the caseworker will come by or just give the client a call saying, how's everything going? You still have the same diagnosis, problems, things like that. Sometimes, with people's health, sometimes their health might deteriorate. If their health does deteriorate, there might be an increase in hours, which makes sense. But if there's no deterioration in health, it's kind of the same. They kind of keep the same level of hours. But the state does come in every year to reevaluate. It's called a reevaluation. They come in to reevaluate if they still need services and all that. So.
And like you said, they don't look at the income, like they don't assess like, oh, your kids look like they have the means to take care of you. They don't need money. They don't make a determination.
It's not about the services. The services are particularly for the client. Okay. So they don't look at the income of the children. Now in particular, they could look, the client could live with the child. The child could be well off to do. Now, sometimes that child, because they're living with them, might not be eligible to be their caregiver, but not everyone in their family lives at that home. There could be other people outside the home, other friends, other family that could still be caregivers for that person because they come to visit all the time to be caregivers.
Yeah, like
so it's not
or something. Okay.
Exactly. So it's not a matter of how much the children or family makes, it's a matter of how much that individual makes. They might be retired and they just get Social Security kind of thing. They might be disabled and they get some type of disability, they're not able to work. And because of that, this program is available for them to get the caregiving that they need for these activities.
So does this work also, like, let's say, the parents are in, they get into bad health and they need a lot of care. Someone could choose this instead of putting the parents in a nursing home, for example. Like, how complex can it get? Like, does there get to a point where it's like they need so much care that it's more than we're able to give?
Now, sometimes there's like a spectrum or like a scale of that where it could go. So sometimes they could be a point where they're not so bad that they need to go into assisted living or hospice, but they still need help at home. That's where we come in. Now, if their situation progresses and gets worse, I'm always honest with my clients. I might say to them, hey, we're still going to give you the service that we need allotted by the state. They only tell us to work so many hours, but maybe you might want to look into hospice care. And of course, me being in home health, I've partnered with many other agencies that specialize in hospice or specialize in assisted living, like that I would get them in contact with, or they can find their own to get in contact with to see what level that they need. Because for me, it's about what does the client want, right? This is about them, what their comfort level might be. If they're comfortable with where they are right now with the caregiving services, we'll provide those caregiving services. If they feel that they need more than what we can offer, we'll find them an alternative to what they have right now to fill those needs that they have.
So if I want to could a step be to get in touch with you and then you can help us through that process of filling out whatever applications and paperwork and things like that?
Yes.
Let's say someone wants to get started, what do they do?
So if someone wanted to get started in this, their head is spinning because they don't know where to start, they don't know who to talk to, what thing like that. So what I would do, definitely get in contact with me. I get you all the way from part A, which is pretty much calling. There's like a intake line to call them to say, hey, this is the situation. We need someone to evaluate you, all the way to when you do get services. Or if you don't get services or you don't qualify, which I don't see a lot, but it could happen. I can still point you in the right direction or have what other options you might need or have for whatever situation you might have. So yeah, so if you don't know what to do, if you want more information on that or where to get started, you can absolutely give me a call and I'll help you on that journey for that.
And you help people all over Texas.
So yeah, so I help people all of my territory is called Region 6. They call it Region 6, which is basically Harris County and all the bordering counties. Don't have the list. I think it's like Walker, Waller, Matagorda County, Brazoria County, Fort Bend, like all the surrounding counties, right? And that's called Region 6, pretty much Southeast Texas. But if someone does need assistance on how to get part of these programs in other parts of the state, absolutely I can help them with that and maybe get them in contact with another agency that does serve that area. But my area, if you wanted services from my company, would have been Region 6 in those counties.
You can point him. Well, thank you so much for being here. And those of you watching, I'll put his information in the notes and the comments below so you can contact him. But I was floored when you told me this. I was like, are you kidding me? There's money for people. And by the way, if you're thinking if you can get pre-approved and use this income for a loan, the answer is yes, as long as it has a 2-year history and it's likely to continue. So we'd look at the average of the past few years. So if it's a material amount enough to help you qualify for a home, it might be eligible to be counted. So thank you very much, Ugo. I really appreciate your time today. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Absolutely. Everyone follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and just give me a call and our website as well. But thank you so much, Jen, for having me. It was a pleasure. And I'm hoping to help as many people as I can.